Welcome to another segment of Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ludke, and I'm here today with Terra Guetter. Hi, Terra. And Terra, are you director?
I'm the administrator.
Administrator of the Pelican River Watershed District. And a lot of you may not know that Pelican River Watershed District is the only watershed on the Otter Tail River system going to the Red. And so, what do you do, Terra? You know, what are you involved in?
Well, the Watershed District is involved in many activities, from managing stormwater to reducing nutrients in the waters within our district area, managing aquatic invasive species. Anything having to do with water, we seem to have some interest in it.
Well, and that's a big thing here. You know, we're in a beautiful lakes region, a pristine part of Minnesota, and we've got issues.
We have many issues.
And I know, like with your project up at Floyd Lake, and you're working on the Pelican there to on a restoration project to eliminate nutrient loading there, and
that's a very exciting project. It's one of the largest wetland restoration projects in the state of Minnesota.
How many acres are you?
We're restoring approximately 600 acres of wetland.
And that's just north of Detroit Lakes.
Just north of Detroit Lakes. And it has many benefits. First of all and foremost is to reduce the phosphorus levels that are coming out of that wetland. And we're finding that many ditched wetlands in the past produce phosphorus. And so what we're doing is restoring the wetland and reducing phosphorus levels, because we don't want that phosphorus coming into Detroit Lake in July and August when it'll cause algal blooms.
No.
People don't like to swim in green water.
No, and it goes on up to Lake Winnipeg, and we end up with big blue-green algae blooms up there. That some of them are toxic.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, you know, what happens right here that we need to know more about. And then, besides that, you talk about the aquatic invasive species, and I know you've been battling flowering rush and milfoil for years.
Yeah, curly-leaf pondweed in particular. Mm-hmm. Both of those species are the ones that the Watershed District has been managing. Mm-hmm. And flowering rush has really come up to the forefront for us because it's impacting the city beach area. Mm-hmm. And Detroit Lakes is known for its beautiful 1 mile beach. It's one of the, I call it 7 wonders of Minnesota. It's really a beautiful, large municipal beach, which is rare to have. And it impacts our tourism.
What's this box here?
Well, Hank, I brought this out because I wanted to show people. People always ask, well, what is the watershed doing? You know, how are you treating flowering rush and spraying? And there is so much involved in just getting a permit to treat flowering rush. And I wanted to show our audience that we have to get over 800 signature cards from the property owners in order to treat flowering rush in front of the property. 800 of these. And if they're not signed and returned, we do not get to treat in front of their house.
And then, so you have the same thing again next year.
That's right.
If you can't treat it properly.
And we're also trying to work legislatively. There is some rules in place where if fees, they're looking at proposing a $90 per parcel fee for, it would be applied to flowering rush treatment. So for us, it would cost us $72,000 to treat flowering rush just to get the permit. So we need to work on that. We're working on changing those rules too.
Well, you know, and a lot of us have no comprehension of any of this going on, just because we're so busy with so many things in our life, and at the same time our environment is drastically changing under our feet.
It is.
Under our flip-flops, depending on where you're at.
Literally. And there's not a lot of research on flowering rush, so the Watershed District is kind of doing a first-time comprehensive research project on flowering rush. And what we're trying to figure out is how to manage it effectively.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very interesting thing. We're going to stop our first segment right there, you know, and we'll be right back with Terra Guetter and the Pelican River Watershed District and what they do in a minute. Welcome back to Spotlight on Frazee. I'm your host, Hank Ludke, and we're still here with Terra Guetter from the Pelican River Watershed District. And, you know, we were talking about flowering rush and milfoil and the aquatic invasive species and nutrient loading and how this affects Detroit Lake but it also affects the whole area. Our tourism, it affects Frazee, it's going to affect the trails.
It affects everybody. I mean, if we get this bike trail put in, people will look on their map and say, okay, let's bring our family here to go biking. And we're going to bike between Frazee and Park Rapids, and we're also going to take from Frazee to Detroit Lakes. And oh, maybe we should bring our boat along too, and let's do some boating and have some fun with the kids when we're not biking. And if we have zebra mussels like this that are littering our beaches, and the kids have to wear shoes, or they have to worry about cutting their feet, they're going to go, oh, let's go pick out another bike trail in a different area where the lakes are clean.
Yeah, and as you mentioned now, zebra mussel. And so in 1988, they found 3 spots of this in the Great Lakes. And that was over on Lake Huron or Ontario, I believe.
I'm not sure which one.
Lake Erie. And now it's coming at us from all directions, along with the koala mussel.
Yes, and what's scary is this is on Pelican Lake, which is only a few miles down the road here from us, from both
so
Frazee
it's in the
and
Pelican
Detroit
chain
Lakes.
already.
It's already in the Pelican chain, and also they found it on the Red River. And what does this mean? I mean, we do not, City of Frazee does not want to have to deal with treating zebra mussels in their water supply systems.
No.
We don't want to have to worry about wearing shoes when we go on the beach. We don't want to have to worry about so many things with our catching fish.
Yeah.
This little critter will eat the food system out of a lake, and so it will starve the game fish.
And it produces 400,000 to 1 million eggs a year on each one of these. And these things have already killed approximately 90% of the commercial fishing on the Great Lakes.
Yes.
And it's here. And so when you're bringing your boat out of a lake, you need to drain your bilge, get the water out of your motor. You need to rinse your boat off. And bleaching, I guess, is one of the things that kills these things. But otherwise, it feels like sandpaper on the side of your boat. You can't even see these things when they're in the larva stage. And so we're trying to educate you in beautiful TV3 land that we want to keep TV3 land beautiful. And we don't want to have these things. And so you might have to get rid of your $15 or $20 worth of minnows out of your live well, because you're carrying water that has zebra mussel larvae in it. And you may not even be able to see them. But they destroy wood, they destroy steel, they destroy concrete. They raise heck with lock systems, they're on your docks. People move docks from one spot to another, and then you have it there. And well, we got about 30 seconds left. You got anything you want to say, Terra?
I want people to start looking for this on their equipment, whether they're in a lake or they're swimming, enjoying anything, to start looking for zebra mussels. I also want them to get the word out. Talk about that these resources are near and dear to us, and educate those that they have a cup of coffee with.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show, Terra. And with that, we'll catch you next week on Spotlight on Frazee. Think about this. Spring's coming.